with your mother.
And your father. What a handsome man he is. How's it going on, guys? It's me, RDV. I'm here with Eric Breen. We're doing the best comics of the books of the week. We ask if you haven't already done so, please click like and subscribe. Because why would you not want to miss this stuff every week? We go Tuesdays and Thursdays, or talk about the new books coming out this week, every week. So, all right. So this is so if those who are just tuning in, you're new. What we do here is usually on Tuesdays we talk about the books coming out this week, and we take each with Zach and I. Well, Zach will be here a little later. We take the 5 books from our pull list that we're excited that we're basically to read, and on Thursdays we're the follow up stream, because what we do here is that we don't know if they show out the books we got, but we also want to see those 5 books that we're excited to read. Are they in our top 5 on Thursdays? So. That being said, hello to anybody who might be watching. I know I'm not watching yet, but it says 4 people here too. If you are a fan of this stuff, let me know. And maybe we'll get you on the channel here. Make you show off some of your own books. All right. A little Ash on comics.
Hey, everybody. It's Ash.
Hey, you pies, as he says now. All right. So,
Maranya trumps Ash.
Oh, yes. Speaking of which, did you see the trading cards that was going over? Like, the whole Twitter was freaking out because Trump was like, $100 you get these NFT trading card or trading cards basically you're supposed to print off or something like that.
I heard some about it. But
yeah, I saw it and I was like, people were like, look, he's doing it. That was his big announcement was trading cards. I'm like, so I didn't know he was. I don't follow the guy. I didn't know I just saw somebody was reacting on Twitter, like just was like laughing. It's like, oh, ha, it's funny. It's like, okay, I don't know. That's weird.
People those people probably couldn't afford him anyway because they invested all their money in Friedman's crypto.
You know what it is? They can't afford it because Biden hasn't given them debt. Wash away their debt for college. So they're still in student debt. All right, so got quite a few books this week. I actually got some other covers. I got a few extra books this week. But you know what? Let me show them. And I think you have a few books this week. I think you said you had 4.
Yeah.
4, huh? Almost 5. We'll get you there someday.
No, you won't.
Hey, they don't have to. You realize the Epic collections can be your best book of the week too, right? All right, so I got this.
It's weird though that this was not a big week per se.
No,
but I actually, did find 4, and Spawn Batman was not one of them.
I gotta say, I have mixed feelings on that book because I know what I was getting into, but it's great Capullo art in the interior all the way through. But
I'm sure. So I'm not a Spawn. I'm not really a Spawn fan.
Same here.
I might look through it next time I'm there, just maybe change my mind. But
the art was fantastic. The concept though was like, I'm just like, But I was talking to Eva Black Cat about that last night, and what's really cool about that Spawn book is that it's a callback to the Batman Superman stuff back in the day when they when Batman had Thought Bubble, he's talking about the other character, and Spawn did that to Bruce in this. So you got to see their little inner thoughts in the boxes. So that was kind of cool.
Well, I mean, I read Spawn Batman team ups, almost 30 years ago, so I don't know if I need another one, but
I didn't. So and for those who actually bought this or bought the recently the trade that came out, of the original 2, guess what? They're doing a hardcover deluxe edition. Comes out in March. So you wasted your money on buying that hardcover of the original 2. You could have bought this. This one came out now, plus the 2 previous ones, and plus extras and those oversized deluxe things for like $30. Yeah, talk about milking as much as they can out of that story crossover. But all right, so let's see here. I got all right, I got 14 books this week. Well, I got plus some other ones I didn't get a chance to read yet, but they'll be in the mentions. All right. Actually, you know what? I'll do that first. I'll show the books that I gonna get a chance to read, but I'll be reading later on tonight. So the first one is going to be this one, Simon Cross thriller, Too Dead to Die. This is Mark Guggenheim and Howard C. Shakin. This is $20 for basically a decent sized trade. You know, it's I'm not sure if this is a callback to a previous series they did, but I know that these guys worked on Blade and Wolverine together back in the heyday. I mean, interior art is kind of like this. It's what you're gonna get. So it's kind of like, But overall, I hope the story is pretty good. But like I said, I don't expect it to be the best. But I mean, it's basically a spy thriller or book. But a guy basically, what I'm understanding is its synopsis that he's retired, but now his villains are catching up to him, and now he's basically pulled out retirement for one last job. Because he was basically a big 80s spy, guy. Top super spy. So, the other book, another one I got was A Vicious Circle. And this is, by the guy, Lee,
Bermejo.
Bermejo. If you're wondering who that name is and why his art kind of looks familiar, because he did all the Detective Comics stock covers. I believe he also did it for Batman as well.
He also did a Lex Luthor, the interiors on a Lex Luthor miniseries.
So,
and he did a Batman Christmas hardcover, or the Batman Harley Quinn, I think, Christmas related story. So he's phenomenal artist.
Yeah, definitely. I'll show a little art in the inside when I get here. But so you're wondering what this is? Well, I picked it up. This was through Boom Studios, $10, and this is suggested for mature readers. It's a little bigger. It's basically almost the same size you get with the Harley Quinn stuff. Yeah, like you said, the Black Label, almost the same thing. So basically, he's a trained assassin from the future who seeks revenge on the only other man with his affliction. Each life they take forces them both to travel between vastly different past and future eras, spanning from the 22nd century Tokyo to 1950s New Orleans, to the Jurassic era and beyond. And then these two mortal rivals are locked in a battle of wills that spans millions of years to alter the course of history. So, basically, I was thinking of what does this remind me of? It reminds me of that Infinity movie that came out last year, I think, with Mark Wahlberg and Dylan O'Brien. But overall, though, looking at this, the interior art is just great on this book. Obviously, in the beginning, it starts off in black and white. I'm assuming this is probably him remembering his past or something, or just I don't know. But overall, I'm excited to read it. I mean, it was only $10, and it's oversized. And like I said, I'm assuming it's probably 32 pages. But it's apparently it's book one. I'm not sure if it's gonna be probably 1 of 3, probably though.
It better be more than 32 pages.
It doesn't say on here. There's no page numbers. But
it looks like there's more.
It's a decent sized book, So I'd say maybe it's double size then. I'm not sure.
Yeah, maybe 48.
Yeah. Overall, though, it's giant photos. So it's and the words are the words are actually little. I guess they're a little bigger than normal. So it's probably the same size as I said. I don't know. I like these. You get these wide page. I love these. This art in here is just phenomenal. But so that's another book I got that I didn't get a chance to read yet. The other one was Vampirus Carmilla. For $7, you can get this awesome, basically like a Warrant almost tribute book.
Well, it's published by Warrant. It's almost a Warren tribute.
Yeah, Warren. Sorry, Warren. Yeah. But overall, and it shows on the back here, all the books have come out so far. So if you, I think you can actually just go online to the Warrant Publishing Company or Vampirella Stock. Yeah, www.vampiriscarmilla with .com, and you can order back issues. You can also do it on online subscription, so they send it to you in the mail. So if you want it folded up in your mailbox, so if you want to feel like the old days, no thanks. All right, so other books that I got here. I just finished this one. I got this actually for Zach. It's a 3-issue little horror story, in here. And I actually read it because I was like, you know what? Since I have it here, I'm gonna send it to Zach because Zach didn't get a chance to get it. I read the first story. I enjoyed it. It's really cool. It would be in my top 5. But since I wasn't really planning on it for this week, though, I just happened to read it out. But the last issue is Joe Corallo's story in here, and I gotta say that was pretty good. So the middle story didn't care for it so much, so I give it a 2 out of 3 as far as stories go. So I'd say it's definitely a top 5 for this week. So
and Joe was, well, everybody here knows because, well, maybe not Ash. Joe did the Fossils show with us last night and talked a little bit about this and actually stayed on for the 2 hours.
Yeah, I could see him aging, turning into a fossil the longer he stays on that stream, man, with you guys.
Well, that show does age him.
Overall, and for those who are wondering, yes, and I was talking to Bree about this. I thought so. The werewolf Jughead goes back to the other stories with him with being the werewolf, Archie horror stories. So that's kind of cool.
And if you like your Betty as a ball buster, this is your story.
Oh my gosh, that story. Yeah, wow, I couldn't believe that. Poor Archie. Hey, speaking of Archie.
Hey! Oh, did you get were you showing off the Archie book?
Yeah, you're gonna enjoy it. If this technically was mine, it'd be in the top 5.
Oh, nice.
I enjoyed it.
Cool.
And Joe Corallo has the 3rd story in it.
Okay, right on. Good to know.
So
yeah, my shop doesn't do the Archie comics, which I was bummed to hear. I was like, really, guys? But
what is he, a millennial?
No, he's old. He's like Breen's age.
Maybe forgot what Archies are.
Maybe.
So
maybe you want to phrase that differently next time, you son of a bitch.
So I got this book, and I get a chance to read it though. 72 pages of Grim Terror. These are usually fun stories, and here, it's just one giant story instead of being multiple stories. So I'll be looking for this as a quarterly. Those do. So I'll be looking forward to reading this later on. Another book though, this is cool too, but I get picked up because the fact that, well, it's just reprints of books you maybe never seen or ever had a chance to read. Avengers #1 from 1963, or I think it was 63, right? They're all 63.
I think so.
Yep.
Yeah. My shop didn't have that one either.
Oh, I'll send it your way if you want.
I need to start looking at different comic shops.
Just start paying me more, and I'll get send you the books. I'll make a profit. Bankman's auction. No. So anyway, this has Avengers #1, X-Men #1, Amazing Spider-Man, Amazing Fantasy #15, and then Fantastic Four #1 for $7, or at least $8. I think it was $8. Yeah, $7.99. And I think it actually has the ads in here too. Some reprints. I'm not sure. I glanced over at the comic book store, but overall though, it's a fun little starter pack for someone who's basically first getting into Marvel, or someone who's Breen's age and has forgotten how great these books are and wants to refresh his memory.
Or if you want to see what these books were like and how good they really were back in the heyday.
Or you want to read the first these first 4 issues, and you just don't feel like pulling them out of your box or breaking them out of your slab to read them. So fun little investment. Yeah, and I was talking to Breen about this. Yeah, I'm with Breen on this. I would have better if it had been a throwback cover.
So Skip is here but not here. So I'm going to say hi but not say hi.
I'm not gonna mind him since he said not to mind him.
Since he's Skip, do our Kings play tonight?
Our Kings, not if they're winning, they're our Kings.
Yeah, let me explain the concept of bandwagon to you sometime.
All right, so
Oh, I'm familiar with it.
all right, so
In 2009, I was very familiar with it.
all right, so all right.
Sorry.
Now the books I got this week. The first one I got because of cover, and I was, you know what? I've never read one of these series, but I don't really care for the writer, but I love the interior artist, so I got Wonder Woman.
I saw, I was this close to picking that up. I was this close. I that is a fun cover.
I got the variant just for this because it's Christmas. Book was bad. Interior art was great. It's Manuel Lupacino.
Mm-hmm.
Another case where we get a great artist with a shitty writer.
Well,
DC
that's
has
not news.
yeah.
Who is writing Wonder Woman?
Becky
It's
Cloonan.
Becky Cloonan.
Oh, good God.
Yeah, I'm like somehow for some reason Steve's in a cast, and then they got some Asgardian warrior with a sword. I don't know if it's supposed to be like who was on a knockoff Balder.
Yeah, it's that guy from when she was in Valhalla briefly.
Oh yeah.
in Death
Diana.
Metal. Yeah.
Yeah. And then guess what? I think her name's Cheetah or Chitara. I can't remember. I always forget.
Cheetah.
Cheetah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently
Barbara
she's
Minerva.
on their side, fighting with them, and then apparently there's a whole plot. So bad this was. They've been selling milk, the Greek gods, Hera, and some devious plot, and the fight takes place in a milk factory with Tigra there, and or not Tigra, sorry, Cheetah. I get those confused.
Wait a minute. Cheetah's in a Wonder Woman?
Yeah.
No way.
And she's not a villain.
Cheetah is an ally of Wonder
She's an
Woman,
anti-hero.
Is what
Oh,
he's trying
good
to say.
Lord.
Yeah.
She's an anti-hero in this book. And I'm going to talk about how crappy it was to have Steve even more neutered because he can't go out and fight and help his girlfriend, or I guess ex-girlfriend, because now she's with the other guy, or was with the other guy. I have no idea. Like you said, it's but they brought back two Ares' sons, the two Greek deities. She fought against them, so it's a callback to the Perez era. I mean, I guess hey, I read Perez books, or they saw maybe the Perez art, and they're like, who are these two guys who are here on the cover? So they fought against
Becky
them.
Cloonan is doing a callback to the Perez era, no one's home.
Yeah. Well, no one's reading it either, so I just picked up the cover. So, but by far, this is like a 1-star. I'm being nice because actually, I would give it 2 stars for the art. I would give it 0 stars for the writing.
You know who I'd like to see get a crack at Wonder Woman? Because I understand now
Yeah.
the new rules are straight men can't write Wonder Woman. I get that.
Yeah.
But that woman that works for Marvel that just took over Thor,
Oh,
who
Victoria.
wanted to do
yeah.
a series, who was given a series about a female protagonist and said, can we just make it a comic book and not girl power? Marvel said, no, it's girl power. I'd like to see her get a crack at it.
I would read
That might
that.
be the only shot we would get at a Wonder Woman that doesn't suck.
So the other part of this is the story is at the end of the story here, and they're fighting. Who shows up to help her? Yara Flora, the new Wonder Girl, on her Pegasus horse.
Yeah, but I wouldn't knock off points for that because if it was Donna or Cassie,
So-
they would show up and you
So
wouldn't have a problem with
I
that.
had to look online reviews to see what people were saying about this. And they're like, "Oh my gosh, it's the first Wonder Woman and Wonder Girl team up! Yay!" This is my number 14.
You got 14 books? I thought it was a light week.
I tried some new books. Okay,
What the heck, man? I got 5.
number 13, almost equally as bad as Wonder Woman, but slightly better. This story is just getting worse. The art's getting worse. I'm just getting sick of how it's out of character for Vampirella. You know, if anybody's read The Adventures of Vampirella, Thompson Askey, you know that she's quick to just cut down demons like this. Here, she's kind of like hesitant. It's like, oh my gosh, I don't want to hurt you. I'm sorry, you know, and then kills them. It's like, what is this crap? And then she's looking more and more like she's like Yoko Ono, or whatever her name is. Yeah, you know, and just looking more and more scary and old. You know, I don't get it. You know, and like I said, the first it started off all right. I'll give it a pass because they're in their, you know, they're in their past bodies. You know, she was teleported. She's possessing her 1960s body, and oh my gosh, they turned Adam into such a beta. He just comes off like one of those snobbish rich guys with the alcohol.
So a male character in a comic book in a current industry that is hell bent on demasculinizing men in general have made him a beta. Shocked I am.
I know, right? This is why I stick to one writer writing Vampirella these days now.
So who's writing this?
This is Parker. I'm not if it's
is it Jeff Parker?
Might be Jeff Parker. I think that's what it is.
Yeah, his best days are long in the rearview mirror.
Oh. He needs to get out of the car. Let someone else drive. All right. So that was number 13. This is number 12. We're starting to get better, but I'm also getting to the point where now this is a series now. For those who read the original Sonya Verso, it started off. This is an alternate universe, alternate Sonya, so I can forgive it a little bit more. This is Jordan Clark writing this series, and in this version, Sonya gave up. What led to basically Sonya Verso, and also if you know is that Sonya broke her vow. She decided she fell in love with a man and decided to lay with him instead of keep it to the chassis thing. So I give him points for ignoring the whole Gail Simone thing, you know. And so this causes, that caused Sonya Verso the whole collapse of reality and stuff. So now she's teaming up with Hellstone again, and also her lover was restored back to life. You know, at the end of the last one. Spoilers for anybody who really cares about it. I don't know who that is, but so now her lover and the Hellstone, who basically Hellstone was basically what happened is that she got. Because she learned that her dimension than the previous series that she was inside of a monster. Hell was basically the dimension inside a pit of a monster of some being on the edge of darkness or whatever in the universe. And so basically these little bees or bugs come out and just start attacking everybody. She flees to the mortal world, and it seems that she basically lost her powers now. But now these spawn like ladybugs. They look like or something like are attacking people, turning them into like the alien, like looking like almost like H.P. Lovecraft monsters, where their noses are gone and stuff. They kind of look at kind of aliens, kind of grotesque. But I'm shocked that she broke her vow. You know, it took her this many years to break her vow. But overall, I might not pick this up again. Like I said, I give it a try because, like, you know what. I figure if a better shot getting a better Dynamite book than I do getting a Marvel or DC. You know, Marvel DC has a huge track record of just ruining their characters. But I'll say this, so it's better than the Mark Russell Vampirella, and this is Red Sonja one too. So all right. I believe we're on. This is number 12. Charles Soule, Health Pay. Season number 2. This is turning into
11.
Is it 14, 13, 12? Yeah, you are right. Yeah. See, I'm losing it here.
Math is hard.
It is hard, bro. So yeah, number 11 here. There is a Rosenberg backup story in the back of this. I didn't read it. I didn't choose to read it because I don't like Rosenberg. But
I was about to say.
Overall, for those, this is a follow up to the first issue. The first issue, basically, where this couple were given a second chance. I mean, the guy basically had they've been in a car accident. She lost her vision, and he lost one of his legs. So they were approached by the society, basically wanting to restore their her eyesight and his legs, and owning a servitude. Basically, they collect the 666 hell coins that were stolen from hell, and they return them. As they were returning in the last issue, they found out that what they thought was supposed to be the last coin. They discovered another coin. So now they tried to get out of it. No, because they're not supposed to have kids because it's against the rules. They're a couple. She's pregnant, and they're trying to race the time. They thought they're done, and so because they found another coin, so now they're forced to continue to hunt down the rest of the coins. And we finally learn out through the person who's basically this guy Alex was in the cage that basically needed all the coins to be let free. So I'm not going to spoil that for anybody who's reading it though. It was a fun book so far. So.
Charles Soule's a pretty good writer. I've read some of his Star Wars stuff. I didn't care for his She-Hulk run
All right.
too much, but yeah.
So, all right. Change my settings here. Okay, I'm not. So, all right. Number 10. It's Iron Man. I don't know what to make of this. I mean, well, it's better than what they've been doing to Tony. I know they've been crapping on him for the past 20 years, since Civil War. They've just been using him as punching bag. So basically, in this issue, surprise, he's broke. He spent all his money buying all the weapons of mass destruction. Why? But he's got a storage warehouse, and Rhodey's the only one knows about it. And Rhodey basically keeps eye over it. I don't know why, but
because Rhodey's the only one he trusts.
Oh no, I meant as far as why he'd spend all his fortune. So basically, someone attacks him at his little. He was in a Brown Story apartment, basically, and he was working on the armor he only has left, and he was working on it. And what happens is that basically someone attacks it. It explodes, and he's in the hospital. No, and nobody believes him that they said the arc reactor, it overloaded. There's nothing wrong with it. And they're like, "Oh, you sure you didn't make a mistake, Tony?" He's like, "I don't make mistakes normally." So he gets attacked later on again, and yeah. End of the Raiders, yeah. In terms of the warehouse with the weapons, yeah. Right. I don't know, Marani. I'm curious if you've read this yet. What your takes on it, but the only thing I don't care about the end, though, and I'll say this, is that Tony slips and has a drink. Sobriety out the window.
I think he's been drinking.
Has he been drinking? I don't know before that. I don't catch
he last time I read, what was the event? It was
2020?
No, this was back before 2020. This might have been back in 2012 or 2011. I know he had started drinking again, or he did a one-time drink. I don't know.
So he went
that much.
He went to AA class, and then he walked out. You see him. He woke up, passed out in the bathroom of a bar. So it's implied that he drank or had a drink or whatever. And then you see him walk by. Aren't you that Tony Stark guy? And he throws up, and then he passes out on some garbage pile in the alley. So I'm like, ugh. So I gave it a shot. So I don't know. I might stick with it. I don't know. I love the armor design, and the interior is really cool.
The new armor design is really cool. I do like that.
But it's nothing like the original Iron Man. I still recommend people go back, check out the original first 400 issues, I'd say. 300 issues, at least. All right. So that was number 10. This is number 9. I actually enjoyed this.
Wait, who is the writer on that? I forgot the writer.
Eve Ewing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that might be why I didn't pick it up.
You know what? I give it a shot because I heard that she started off good and then went bad on the series. I don't know. So it's like every other writer that's working today now, pretty much in Marvel DC. Even Scott Snyder's famous for this. He starts off great and then he doesn't know how to end things. Like I said, so I read this. There's a callback to that. This old couple that walk up to you is like, "Oh, Captain Marvel, can I get a picture with you?" And she's like, "I'm not." And then they're like, and then it just talks about how pretty much everybody just kind of she's been pushed aside more and more.
To be fair, that is true.
Yeah. So it's like there's a little callback. She ends up going because basically it starts off before that. She basically goes to Doctor Strange's a mansion where Wong and Strange, and this is like tying into earlier issues, like not like always the past, but like tying into like a couple of years, because she's no longer with Blue Marvel, no longer dating him.
Was she dating Blue Marvel?
Yeah, for a while, I guess.
I knew they were on the same team. I didn't know they were dating.
On and off dating. Yeah, Alex. He's the only Alex I know. So they broke them up again or whatever. At least Eve Ewing is she's saying she's ignoring that they they're even dating. She says because I guess nowhere else. Everyone else,
she probably doesn't know, because I doubt seriously if they asked her to do any research.
Probably not.
Like, are her parents in this book at all? Are they mentioned?
Yeah, they are. She goes and visits them.
Good for that. That's a plus.
Yeah, okay. She goes and visits her parents.
Are her parents still together?
Yep.
Double points for Eve.
Okay.
Good job. I like that.
So yeah, so her parents are still together. She goes to them for advice stuff, and just her mom comes home, and her mom's like, yeah, it's like it's like it's good to see you, and she's like, try to hook him up with another. He's like, Mom, I'm fine. I don't need anybody, and I don't need to try to set her up with another dates. Her dad's like, oh, you're not with that Alex guy? Good, he was cold for you. So
he does they do reference it.
They do reference the dating then.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it sounds like she's
slowly being rebuilt.
Yeah. So, right.
Slowly.
And it starts off. She remembers a flashback when she had the fro when she was Captain Marvel, and how she was leading the Avengers and stuff like that. She's so used to leading stuff. She does so while she delivered some like relic, magic relic to Doctor Strange stuff. When something happens outside the mansion, because out there's just some kind of like monster, like it's basically like a like Reed Richards almost, not Reed Richards, but the same power stretching stuff. Don't know what it is. And then it's attacking, and then Spider-Man shows up, and she says, Spider-Man, and she yells out this like Cap would do, a strategy code or move, and like he's like, and he doesn't listen. He's like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I don't take orders from you. And he's like, of course you don't. And it's like, she's like, my apologies. I'm so used to being in charge and stuff.
Wait a minute. So Spider-Man says, I don't take orders from you.
Well, not in that sense. He says, as that's my check, it's like, you're not my boss. Yeah.
See, now she lost me. Because do we really need Spider-Man in every freaking book?
Well, he's only in there for like a brief second, and then
I know, but it's
yeah.
Something I said that's going back to the book before that. Iron Man's in how many other books every month? Will they even touch on the fact that he fell off the wagon? Of course they won't.
Well, this Peter Parker though he doesn't seem like the ones where he's a loser in every other book. This one seemed
I just thought there's.
It feels like this is out of continuity. That's what I'm saying.
I should say more like out of context.
Yeah.
If you want this character to work, you don't need gratuitous cameos by a character that I know that they were on a team together, but that was when Doc Ock was in the body. So this Spider-Man and Photon, I mean, they now, if they had said something like, if there had been a reference to, because like her first appearance is in Spider-Man Annual 16.
They don't make a reference to that, but like I said, overall, it's okay book. I mean, there's a lot of stuff I don't know the history of the character, so I can't really be a good judge of character.
Well,
but I do know stuff.
The problem with that is the history that matters is from the 80s. Because
that's not bad, actually.
There was a Captain Marvel one shot that was like a very early SJW comic, and a lot of who she is now is tied up in, being a black woman and not being a hero. So I'd be curious to see how Eve Ewing treats her, but I may pick this up tomorrow.
So basically, it starts off all those years ago. It feels like yesterday, but the fight with the Leviathan took so much from me. I never experienced trust on that level, camaraderie or sabotage, or on that level failure. That fight took and everything around it took my power in more ways than one, and it goes way back in Avengers 293. there's a callback to that from her little box. So that
What?
she does a
There's a
callback.
little box that says "See Avengers 293."
Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
Because
Now, do you know why they stopped doing those originally?
people didn't know.
No, they figured you could just go online and look it up.
Oh,
That was their rationale before. Then they realized that fans liked it, but we don't give fans what we want anymore. So I like that. I'm leaning
They did
more towards
have
getting it.
they did have one of those in the Iron Man book too. They referenced the Hickman Avengers run.
So another thing I was going through was like, is the ad here? Apparently, there's a daughter of Blade now.
Yeah,
Daniel. Like I said, it's a for first issue, it's all right. But I like it. They still keep it where she can basically within a matter of 2 seconds, she's back at her apartment, and then she calls her her dad, and then within 2 seconds, she's over again. She appears. Her brother's, I guess, I don't. Was her brother gay? I think it was at a retcon. It must be a newer retcon.
Well, when I was reading that she didn't have a brother.
Well, she has a brother named Caleb, or cousin. Cousin McCabe. At first I thought he was I guess he has his boyfriend left him, or husband left him, but now he's also hooked on drugs. So she goes visit her dad, and just it's overall. I said I enjoyed it for what it was, for a good start. Yeah. So I mean, the art in here is pretty good. For first issue, I thought it was actually pretty good so far.
I like the new costume. It's better than when they just had her running around in like a leather jacket.
So this is a preview of the next issue.
Oh, nice.
So I'm feeling this is going to do something with time travel, maybe, or something, where she's going to be another reality or path to pass. So I hope they don't retcon things.
Oh, time travel.
What's Marvel all it is nowadays? Is time travel.
That's what everything is nowadays, is time travel.
It's what
time travel and alternate realities.
I blame Doctor Who. It's like Doctor Who made it popular again.
That might not be a bad starting point for blame.
All right, so number 9 was Cherish. This is issue number 2. Continues our story about revenge, taking out her father's former allies or friends who murdered him. And yeah, basically she's using her father's technology. Her father's a really good inventor. All he wanted to do was help people, but he was murdered and she doesn't know why he was murdered. Obviously, I'm thinking it's because of greed. They wanted to use his weapons just like Obadiah Stane basically killed Tony Stark, and this is Tony Stark's daughter going for revenge. That's kind of what it feels like a little bit to me. Interior art's good. Overall, I give it a 3 out of 5. It's kind of falling into some of those tropes, or like, of course, the guy that her father, she called her uncle, or his dad's partner. Turns out he's a pedophile. He's been adopting like 11-year-olds up, and just sleeping with them, raping them. So but instead of killing him, she basically, this is an absolution where they just kill you. She gets him arrested with photo stuff, and he goes away. Prison.
I don't know about that. I mean, yeah, get the editor on the phone, will you?
Right, all right.
Do you know who the editor of that book is?
Do not know who the editor in this. It doesn't say on the book here, but
does it say on the interior?
Yeah, open up. Why you want to? I don't think they have his phone number here though. You're gonna call him. Editor is Joe Corallo.
That's why I said that.
Oh, that's why he said that. Oh, I had no idea.
Yeah.
So I was about to say, does Bree know who this is, and he's just like making you work for the answer?
But it's
and I do. I'm gonna get him on the phone. Good.
So overall, though, it's like I said, it's still a fun book though. The technology is really cool here. It's because she's basically spying as an intern for this company, her dad's former company. They're still using his tech, but creating new stuff. Like one of the guys, he's like the CEO is his son has a thing for her, and she's like, oh, hey, you want to come to dinner? He's like, and she's like, I get those shoes he has because the shoes he has they're silencers, so basically allows you to sneak up on people. They're noise canceling. They're like sneakers, basically, like or like
Hey,
Nike
maybe that's
sneakers.
why they're called sneakers.
Hey.
No. I know, but you know what? If you don't like that, you can talk to Joe.
No, I didn't know Joe was editing when the
No.
first issue came out, and I looked through it, and the art was just a little bit underwhelming on the interior, so I passed on it.
Yeah. This is Sean Gordon Murphy's wife who's writing this.
Oh,
Oh.
really?
So
Oh,
if you
cool.
read the Harley Quinn, what was it, or Batman White Knight or
White
whatever?
Knight?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was the Harley. Yeah, I know.
Harley
which one
Quinn
it was.
series, yeah, which was actually really good too. So fun book, I recommend it. If anybody's who's looking for new stuff to check out, they're only in issue 2, so you can catch up right away. All right, number 7 is Blade Runner. This is the third series. This is 2039. It's starting off. Basically, now the department they now have a new. Basically, like for those who watched the 2049 movie, they had. They're using skin jobs now. Replicants to hunt down other replicants now, and this new replicant that's working on the new on the police force. She's kind of out of control. She's kind of violent. It's almost like that movie, The Substitute, where he just wants to. He starts murdering the students. Overall, it's a good continuation. I will say this though: if you've never read the first 2 arcs, you're not they give you a little synopsis, but not really much. So when you see like the character get the end of the book, you're like, who the heck is this person? So I would recommend start with 2019, then reading the 2029, I think it was. They're now at 2039. This is Mike Johnson writing this, and it's through Time Comics. So it's
Okay.
number 1. And it was only $3.99. Still fun series, and I still love like everything. As far as it's really Blade Runner as far as cyberpunk. You get replicants, so looking at robotic eyes, it's just this part stuff. It's really cool, So, and it takes place in Los Angeles. So that's where Los Angeles is going in the future. It's just slums, either a prison state or a prison state with robots.
So it's doing one of like what the Simpsons did and just like predict stuff that's going to happen in the future.
Right. Number 6. Fun series, little one shot here. It's gonna branch off into basically the girl on the right, Avril, who's a witch, getting her own series. And the girl on the left is Brittany Waters. Yeah, she is Little Red Riding Hood. Basically, turns into a werewolf. And I guess they never really called her, Little Red Riding Hood, but basically she has the power of the wolf stuff. And they're basically secret agents. They're working to stop terrorism. And this one girl, basically, they've been trying to stop this cult who's trying to basically Shaggoth, I think it is like, I guess it's tied to the H.P. Lovecraft monster again, Cthulhu and stuff. They're trying to like raise the demon over the portal. There's a little body swapping in this, spirit swapping in there, so magic and monsters and fun, gunfighting, werewolves. It's supernatural. It's a fun story. Check it out. So now in my top 5, though, it was kind of hard to. It was getting a little because the books I'm getting down to, Zach.
Yeah.
We're gonna have some of them ours and probably colliding in the top 5.
Probably.
There is one that's missing though because I couldn't find it. Was Resident Alien book 2.
I saw that.
Yeah, so I was kind of annoyed. I was like, really? Okay. Maybe I missed it. I'd go back and look at the story again because I locked out. I was like, and I realized I didn't grab it. So I'm thinking, but I didn't see it though. So maybe it was in a different spot.
Maybe. Yeah.
All right. So this is my number 5.
Ooh, Xenoscope.
Another thing. This is basically like Batgirl was written great, and actually where they wrote it where she actually made mistakes and constantly was self-doubting herself, and all her villains are coming back to basically get revenge on her. And she has an assistant who's in the who's kind of quirky, but they're roommates. And no, they're not lesbians. Great Grunka, stay away from them. But yeah, so basically, she comes with she knows she's talking in the beginning. She's like, I just came back from Tartarus. I just did all this stuff. I'm getting older now. I'm getting a little slower now, and the point where I'm like, I just want to relax a little bit. So this book takes place during Thanksgiving, which is really weird because they waited this long to release it. I would have released it before. They had a book before this. I mean, they must have been behind a schedule for releasing books.
Yeah, something might have happened there. Yeah.
So, what happens is that there's this Ice Maiden, which basically was this villain she defeated a couple issues back. The Ice Maiden monster. It's like the great grandfather now is like you disowned or Mr. Not disowned her, but you what you call it dishonored our clan or tribe. So I'm gonna go into this place, this land, and I'm gonna go and defeat this woman. We get zombie werewolves in this too. It was really cool.
Nice.
Yeah, they look kind of trippy because they got like giant shotgun holes. They're like Swiss cheese almost in some of them. Yeah. So he comes in. People are being. It's like almost like a Batgirl versus Mr. Freeze because there are people frozen in blocks of ice. This literally this like where they were. Yeah, she has to fight against him, and then there's a little team up at the end against the guy, and it's going to lead into another series. But overall, it's fun. It's just 32 pages. I believe this might have been like $4. I think it was still $4 or $5. Fun story. I said you're getting comedy, and she's not a marriage Sue. She's basically getting her ass handed to her most of the time, and she barely escapes. And she's always like, he said, she's always in her monologue. She's like, great. It's like, who else is going to come out and try to kill me this week? I just want to have. It's like, is Christmas safe?
Does the issue, does it start with her like getting beat up and she's like, you're probably wondering how I got in this situation?
No, but that would have made it better though. It starts off where she is basically thinking about her past thing and she's kind of zoning out, and they're in like the girl she's with is cooking bringing the turkey out, and she's like, hello, Earth, Belle, whatever her name is, like, and she's like, oh, I'm here. It's like, oh, it's like, and yeah, so. And then they get reports of like, oh, it's weird winter. She's like weird. Like, on the radio, she's like, it was just 60 degrees, and like, and the girl's basically is like, she's like, or Mel, I think her name's Melanie or Melissa. She's like, don't you dare. It's like, and I just got the turkey and all that up, and he's like, yeah, but impending doom, it's my job. See ya. She goes on. And then of course, because her last suit got destroyed, now she's like, I better get this over before I freeze my tits off, pretty much, my toes and my hands, because her suit, because it's ice cold winter, Arctic weather in normal like 6-degree weather. So, like I said, it's always humor with this book and action. So that's why it's in my top 5 this week. Number 4 is well, first of all, hello to Sir John. Nice to see you. Thanks for joining us. So number 4 is Dark Crisis Big Bang. This was just an overall fun story with Barry and Wallace. My only problem with this issue, though, it's a minor issue for me. Other people, it might be a breaker. They bring back the Anti-Monitor. I'm not gonna say anymore because Zach, I don't know if you read this.
I read it.
Okay.
I read all my books. Yeah.
But it's a quick read. Going through it.
Which is ironic, which is funny because it's the Flash.
I know, but it's a Barry Allen story though. It's been a while since we read Barry Allen, and this is by Mark Waid, and Jan Jurgens is doing the art on this. This is the variant cover. This is some of the cameos you can kind of see in the book, or at least as he's running through dimensions, you see they list all the dimensions, and some people are upset because they're like, oh, they switched 2 of the numbers around. Because why is John in this seas, or whatever, yeah. Yeah, people are complaining about it. I was like,
oh, I didn't see that.
No,
people are really complaining about the Earths, really?
Because somebody was on the wrong Earth, on the wrong number, but actually they weren't, so they were just kind of confused, I guess. So I didn't see that. I went over it twice. I was like, I don't know what the heck you're talking about. But now, yeah, because now Deceased has its own Earth number now.
Mm-hmm. So does the Jurassic League and the DC Mech Earths too.
Yep. So
and overall, I think the Earth 1 storyline is one of those too.
So overall, though, like I said, I found this to be fun. Like I said, it was still a quick read though, but there's a lot of cool stuff to look at the art here and stuff. Jen Durgan's art. I don't. Somebody said like, oh, his art's starting to get worse the more he does. I disagree. I think it's hold up over the years because I'm reading exactly ready. I'm reading Post Crisis Superman with Jen Durgan's writing on there and doing some arts as well, and he
Damn, 15 minutes.
Yeah, right.
I know. Is that the first time he's mentioned it?
Yeah.
50 minutes. Yeah.
That's almost a new record.
Oh yeah, I had to wait till I get this book. I got a lot of books, man. So overall, fun story, great art. Now, number 3 is a book at first I'm like, you know what? There's not really other better books out, so I read it, and but then I found 2 other ones there. I read afterwards. I was like, you know what? I can't have this number 1 anymore. So you got bumped to 3. This is the Batman Spawn. Amazing art in here, dude. It is Greg Capullo doing Spawn and Batman. Overall, you get the thought bubbles, not bubbles, but basically boxes from each character talking about the other character. Kind of like call back to the they used to do back in the day, the Superman Batman stuff. Don't really care for them kind of like interacting. This is my first. This is for me. It's my first time ever seeing them in a book together. Even I did not read the previous 2 stories, but now I want to because I saw that Chuck Dixon was one of the writers, one of them. So I kind of yes, that was another post-crisis name. So Drake said.
Of course, if Chuck Dixon's name is on it, he's gonna read. Chuck Dixon could write a Mickey Mouse story and be like, I need
You
to
know
read
what?
the
It'd be
story.
pretty damn good though if Chuck Dixon wrote it.
Oh no, it absolutely would be.
You know, he
I
wrote
agree.
The Simpsons for a few issues.
I'll have to
Did
check
he
that out
really?
too.
Huh.
Dude, I'm serious. I want to start checking out more of his obscure stuff, and more outside his Batman stuff. But overall, I said I'm not sure if this is a one shot or if it's going to be continuing another issue because they left it kind of on a cliffhanger.
I think it's a miniseries.
Is it a
I'm
miniseries?
pretty sure
Okay,
I don't think it's a one shot. I think it's a
But-
miniseries.
but this is the Sean Gordon Murphy cover for Batman: The White Knight. So
Mhm.
I could have got the Capullo colors otherwise or Jim Lee, but I was like, dude, I wanted this because
I
how
think you
did you
made the
see-
right choice.
how often do you see Sean Gordon Murphy doing a cover for a series like he's not involved with whatsoever?
Not very often.
Not always.
Yeah, I think you made a good call on that. cover.
Now I will say this though, the writing is mediocre because that's Todd McFarlane. That's what it is. But the art is exceptionally great. I mean, if Todd McFarlane had somebody co-writing with him, I think it'd be a lot better. Even at this point, let Greg Capullo write some stuff. Can't be that bad. But overall, it's a fun story, man, dude. I'll check it out. You don't need to know anything about the previous volumes. Number 2, Lord of the Jungle. Nice follow up to the first issue, and Brian, I hope you got this one. But he's muted though. But we'll find out when he comes back. I'm not gonna spoil this one because, like I said, I want you guys to read these. I mean, Dan Jurgens doing the writing on this. The art is basically I forgot who it's good. It's Gallego, but I don't know
yeah.
I don't know what his first name is though. But it is a fun book. This is a throwback with a lot of callback to basically how when he first met humans. He's recalling the story, talking to his friend. He's recalling, and because you basically get to see original Tarzan come across poachers, and him and you get to meet Shaw. Now Shaw, I believe, is the original big bad villain from the Tarzan movies, right?
No. Well, I'm thinking of the Disney cartoon.
Oh,
Which I don't think his name was Shaw. It was Clayton. in the
okay.
Disney
Well,
cartoon, but
this guy's named Shaw, and he basically made an enemy of himself, by interfering with the guys, beating up the guy's men, and then making a fool of them, and then escaping. And just shows him more how Tarzan basically was in his cottage where his parents had basically had built.
Mhm.
It had been the shelter, and they found an old book, so it has the picture of the animals and the letter and stuff. So he's basically he's teaching himself how to identify and and just talk, read stuff, So slowly but surely. See, you don't need school. You just need a book. You don't need school at all. You can just teach yourself.
You need a picture book. You left out that part. He can't read words. It's got to be a picture book.
Picture. A is for and then he goes. He's like H is for hunter. He's like that's awesome. You're still getting like caveman Tarzan. I don't know if that's all he was back in the day before he met Jane. I think Jane's the one who really taught him the real English, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, but fun story. Definitely check it out. My number one though is a book though. I didn't think I was like, you know what? I'll give it a shot. Mainly because Ash won't shut up about it. That's Nightclub. Fun book. Now this was another quick read though for me though. I went through it again twice and I just enjoy it. So far, it's a nice little setup. I'm not going to spoil anything about it, but it is only $1.99. That's crazy.
Yeah. Not even the Spawn books are that cheap, and they up till now were the cheapest ones on the shelves.
Undead Quinn saying it's his number 2. I don't think he has any other books above that, but his So he's saying kick-ass vibes. Exactly. I got kick-ass vibes, man. It is like I was just saying this, Zach. I hope you read this.
Yeah, that was on my list. I talked about it on Tuesday.
The thing that made me laugh is parkour. Oh shit! The very beginning word. I was like, no way.
Dumb kids.
I'm gonna be famous. I'm gonna impress this girl at school, and I'm gonna be a YouTube star. And I'm like,
it's like the mom from that '70s show, dumbass.
right. Right, to be like, let him die.
Yeah, right.
It's like, serves him right, dumbass. Fun story, great art. Overall, Mark Millar proving that hey, he still got it, and he can. And the best part is he's not charging me that much for it. So
True.
Now I hope he sticks with his experiment for this next 16 books he does, because I don't want to pay more. I mean, this is a fun story, but I definitely the price is what really got me to pick it up. Was $1.99. So his experiment worked. I picked it up because of $1.99. Now it also worked out too because of the fact that he had a good story. Now if he had a bad story and it's $1.99, I probably wouldn't get the next one. But
yeah,
definitely my favorite book of the week, dude. Just enjoying it.
Very cool.
That's all my books for this week. Undead Quinn saying Dark Ride number 3. The moving plot of the horror park is just enough to read the next issue.
Oh, nice.
I'm glad you're enjoying the ride. All right, Zach, you got some books.
I got some books. Unless Breen wants to go. I know Breen likes to be the closer.
Yeah, well, I'll let you be the closer today. I'll go next if you don't mind, because mine will take
go
long.
for it. Yeah,
He wants to go eat.
I'll stick around for this, but we'll start with. Haven't had a chance to read this yet, but picked up Vampirus Carmilla also.
I love that cover, man.
That's a great cover.
It's very gothic, very reminiscent of this is the closest they've come to replicating an old Warren cover so far. Let's see. I can't believe Venkman doesn't get this, but
they don't have the shop, man. They don't.
Femforce Countdown to 200.
I might have to start reading that.
This one has to save that one from demonic possession. Yeah, yada yada yada. A bunch of girls not wearing much.
Show me the interiors at least, man. You're killing me.
All right. Well, say a little interior. All right.
Mister, I preview all my comics online. Won't.
I've never seen that one online.
I bet say I haven't either, actually.
Oh, what? Faith
Right.
restored in Zach.
In what? Oh,
that's cool.
What?
It's like
yeah, I like that art style. It looks like a very 90s almost, 80s or 90s.
it looks
Yeah,
like
it definitely is stuck in the past. The artist is
80s, 90s, yeah.
Well, this book goes back to the 80s. It's
Yeah, I was gonna say it
Oh,
reminds,
okay.
reminds of Hero Lions.
I don't know if Bill Black is still doing. I don't know. But that's it. It's fun, and it's there's no political correctness. It's just a bunch of hot babes romping around.
And these are all brand new issues, right? They're not just reprints.
Yes.
Wow.
Nice. Oh, very
200, man.
Number
That's
3,
awesome.
Nightclub. To borrow a term that our buddy Englentine says, he made a comic book. And I got my $2 worth. I would not have gotten my $4 worth. So I'm glad it was $2. Now, what I liked I liked how he got hurt. I thought that was funny. And then how he became a vampire, that's a little iffy. Where it lost me and what I was hoping this book was going to be was the way it was sold, how he's a kid, he's now a vampire, and he's going to go, try to be a superhero instead of a creature of the night. But we didn't get that. He's now an agent of some cliched as fuck leader of some shadowy, who gives a shit. Now, I'll be back for issue 2, but I really wanted to see him out on his own, trying to learn how to be. I mean, there's a story in that Vampiress Carmilla about this hot chick that becomes a vampire, but she doesn't know all the rules.
Mhm.
And at the end, she's got this old lady vampire teaching her things, but she's not really paying attention. And she goes, screw it, I'm just going to go take a shower. And it kills her, running water.
Oh,
So they use the old, traditional things.
Yeah.
I want to see a guy, a kid trying to figure it out, on his own or whatever. Yeah. So, I mean, I was disappointed that he's like part of something.
did you notice they name dropped Spider-Man in that?
Yes, I did. I mean, it wasn't bad. And, I mean, it didn't have, I mean, Mark Miller can write in almost any style. And this was kind of like his fun style, but I just kind of found the guy in charge to be too cliched for me. So hopefully it gets better. Number 2, apologies to Joe, couldn't make it number 1. Happy Horror Days.
Jimmy Olsen.
Found out this is an homage to Archie Giant series number 10.
Oh.
Gratu found that last night when this cover was brought up.
Very cool.
Ash, you made snap judgments. It did go away. I said it wasn't. Yeah, I said you never get a second chance to make a first impression. So there, take that. I'm kind of with you, Venkman. I liked the second story. I don't really remember all that much. But what I like about these is these guys get to do things you'd never be able to do in other stories. Like, Joe got to kill off Reggie.
Yeah.
That's cool. Fun. And Frank Thierry, who is a name, he goes back to he was writing for Marvel when they were good. But number 1, this is a really, really good book. I've likened the art to Jack Geis, and as I was showing some of the interior pages on the fossils last night, Gratu took one look at it and said, "That looks like John Buscema." And I gave it another look and I said, "It kind of is the two." I didn't say I was wrong. That's this was. Why isn't this guy? Well, I know this is a rhetorical question. Why isn't this guy working for the big two? Because hell, I don't know if Jurgens is paying him out of his own pocket some, but this guy's art is better than anything that the big two's putting out. I mean, the backgrounds are intricate. The storytelling is top notch. I mean, this is really, really good. And I said, yeah, I'm not a huge Tarzan fan, but I'm really enjoying this.
See, like saying here, I'm not a huge Tarzan fan. I've never even watched most of the movies. I think I watched the one I want to remember the most is the Disney movie.
I mean, I've read. I mean, I've become a big fan of the DC series,
Okay.
and because I mean, I had all the issues when he was at Marvel, but I haven't read them since the '70s, so I don't really remember that much about them. But this apparently is a pretty faithful adaptation of his original origin, going back to the early Edgar Rice Burroughs books.
Oh, that's cool.
Just like, I guess, with some like updates, because obviously these were late 19th century when this started, and this takes place in, I think it updates like the 50s, and I think they're in the mid 70s now or something, but really good. Highly recommend that. So I guess that's my top 4 and my bottom 4 and my middle 4.
Did he release his video yet?
Who?
Wow. What do you think? Top, bottom?
Oh, not to. I know he didn't.
Frugal.
Not today.
I
think
didn't notice.
Last week, he Frugal. Check out Captain Frugal. He does his top, bottom, and then the middle of the books of the week. He's been releasing them on Fridays.
Well, I thought he's done a couple of them on Thursdays, and then maybe you can explain what kind of system where he gives things like 7.03962 dash.
I don't know.
I don't get the decimals. I don't get them. But whatever. Hey,
I just do keep it simple. 1 through 5. 5 stars is great. No, I don't do the whole 10. It's like, then you get too articulate, and you just lost me in the point. I'm like, next book, please.
Oh, don't worry, Venkman. No one will ever accuse you of being too articulate.
I take pride in that.
hey, you do you, sir.
I'm double
You
downing
do
on
you.
that. I don't care.
All right, I've got exactly 5 books and a trade. I picked up a trade this week that I'm pretty jazzed about. So yeah, going in the order of most liked or best liked to most liked. All right. Number 5, bottom of the barrel. Invincible Iron Man #1. My opinion, the cover is the best part. I have a very different opinion about this book than Venkman does. I did not care for this, honestly. Something that Breen said a while back that stuck in my head as I was reading this. They all write Iron Man like he's Robert Downey Jr. now. Like, as I'm reading his dialogue, I'm like, this guy literally just like read and copied his mannerisms from the MCU.
That's kind of why I liked it.
Look, Robert Downey Jr. is great, but he wasn't Robert Downey Jr. for many, many, many years.
I know. I like both versions, though. I can't help it.
On top of all that, Breen, he didn't even notice this or mention this. You'll get a kick out of this. He learns and he loves being around his new best friend, Riri Williams. He's like, I learned so much from her.
Of course he does.
He says she has a galaxy of knowledge.
Yeah, well, okay. Well,
I'm
anyway.
so glad you stole my technology. You do so much more with it than I ever could.
To be fair, though, they're not.
No. This is my grading. I didn't interrupt yours. I could have stolen your thunder. I'm gonna finish with this.
Is that a mute button there? Oh.
I know you need to let me back in so I can have controls. No, no, I'm just kidding. No, I mean, look, the art is good. It's not as bad as Cantwell's writing, but that's not saying a whole lot because Cantwell was really, really bad. Yeah, really, the thing that took me out of it the most, it wasn't even the Riri Williams part. It was the him sounding like Robert Downey Jr. part. That's really.
Marty pointed out. I've been reading some of the early issues. He does sound like Robert Downey Jr. in the back.
Does he really?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, this just sounded like they took deleted scenes from his movies and converted it to.
From Iron Man 1, I think, is when he has they show the demon in the bottle briefly.
I thought it was 2.
I
thought 2 was the one that referenced it because doesn't he go like crazy alcoholic or drunk or whatever in 2? I thought he did.
Yeah, because Rhodey, yeah.
It wasn't even necessarily like alcoholism. It was just him going crazy. Like, I guess he could have been seen as drunk, but anyway, I mean, look, it was all right. I might get issue 2 just so I can get the continuation of the cover.
So my only question in this, because
But-
so we said that he basically has limited funds and he basically paid off the people. He went to She-Hulk. She-Hulk was in this book too. We forgot to mention that. She-Hulk was
2
she's
pages.
now a power attorney. He made her power attorney.
Yeah. He gave her power of attorney over his assets. Yeah.
And
it was all right.
his armor was destroyed. The only armor he has was destroyed in the first, and when the building collapsed on him. He goes and he fixes it. I'm like, where does he get the money for the parts and all that stuff?
I think he still has money. He just downsized, and there's actually, it reminded me, there was an old what was it? I think it was Marvel Knights. I think it was Fantastic Four, because I think Tony was broke and Mr. Fantastic was broke, and Iron Man was offering him money, and Reed would be like, Tony, you're broke, and he told Reed, he's like, no, my broke isn't the same as normal broke. Like, he still had money.
Oh.
So, I mean, it wasn't a terrible read. It's just compared to the other book, and like I said, I had a light week this week, and compared to the other 4, this was bottom of the barrel.
Like I said, I just hope they decided to drop this whole Tony being broke all the time. I want Tony back to being where he's on top and he's just kicking ass every single issue.
Well, he's a straight white man, so don't hold your breath.
Well, soon he'll be gay and he'll be back on top.
Ooh, phrasing. All right, number 4. I picked up A Vicious Circle, not cycle. Interesting premise with this. And then the artwork by Lee Bermejo. Really, really good. I do like how every time he changes and goes to a different era and time, the art changes. That's really cool.
Oh, that's okay. I didn't read it yet. I was just showing up before.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to spoil too much. I will say there's some heavy-handed political stuff towards the beginning. Or at least I thought heavy-handed. I could be wrong.
It's the future. We're headed toward it's current.
No, it's not in the future. It takes place in the past. It takes place in the 50s. So, small spoiler there. I won't say where or anything like that. But
we already know in the back of the book.
But yeah, interesting premise. It ends on a cool cliffhanger. I liked it. The art is I think the best part. The art is fantastic. So yeah, really, really interesting book. I normally don't get like the big like these big, huge magazine sized ones.
See, the funny part is I didn't think you were gonna get it, so I was like, I don't know if you had it or not, because I was gonna get you that cover and just send it to you.
Oh no, I was able to find that one. They did have the variant cover. With all the skeleton arms and the guns, but they were charging like $30 for it. And I was like, yeah, I'll save my money.
Really?
$30 for that one.
I paid 10.
Well, lucky
you want it? Let me know. I'll send
it's okay. That's okay. I'm happy with the one I got. All right, number 3 is Dark Crisis Big Bang. I got the Red Sun beating Magog up cover.
Of course, you got the communist one.
Which is the most interesting part of this book. This is another one I disagree with you on. I was kind of bored reading this. This is like the first dud that I've read of Mark Waid since he started writing at DC again. It's just boring. It's like, oh, hey, this is just showing all the different, let's give you a little sneak, let's show you all the different multiverses, and Barry's running recon trying to find Anti-Monitor, and like all the worlds he visits, none of them have anything to do with the story. It's literally just like, and here's these guys, and here's this world, and here's this.
It talks about how the infinite worlds were basically
the infinite worlds are back. The infinite worlds are back, but we found that out in like the main Dark Crisis book.
This is basically a small little tie-in. I didn't expect it to be like over the top stuff, but like I said, it was decent writing, at least for the most part.
It's all right. I mean, it's a one shot, so I wasn't expecting like a huge amount. It just seemed boring to me.
He does the Orange Punch by Cassidy. Remember Orange Cassidy, Breen? He does the Orange Punch in here, and he goes real fast, and then he punches some. Repeatedly, it's just the multiverse.
It was the cool. He didn't say flash fact. He should have said flash fact. That would have made it cooler. Talking about how the infinite mass of speed relates to mass.
So, did you look in the back of the book? It tells you now. List official update.
The back of the book was actually the coolest part. I thought.
Yeah.
The book was the coolest part because it lists all the different alternate realities. I thought, okay, that's actually pretty cool.
So now we even know all the worlds that were created by that were in this past event, So now we know what's bad now.
So it was all right. It's just like I said, compared to the other stuff I've read, because like Mark Waid, like okay, World's Finest is good. Batman versus Robin, all these other books he's doing have been good for DC. This was just in comparison, just seemed to fall a little flat.
See,
to
it
me.
just reminded me of a Who's Who with a little story in it.
Yeah, a little bit. It's just the story wasn't that interesting to me. Maybe it was just me.
Or Who's Where.
Who's where? Yeah. All right, number 2 is Lord of the Jungle from Jurgens and Belito. I think it's Belito Gallego or Benito, one of those two. But yeah, this is a good book. I've been liking it a lot. Dan Jurgens' writing is really fantastic. One small issue I have with this issue, I think we had enough of Tarzan retelling his origin story in the first one. I would have liked to have seen it just focus more on the present and what he's doing like there and then.
Well, yeah.
Other than that, though, I am having a lot of fun with this. Though this is really really cool.
I did like the setup though, because it actually tells you who the villain is now.
I agree. I think it is cool to have the setup and everything, but like because it goes back and it tells like more of his origin, like how his adopted mom died and the first time he met. I was like, you might have been able to put all that in the first issue. Have all of his origin
I
take place
disagree.
there.
I think that it'd been too much in the first issue. Would have killed the first issue for me.
Maybe. I don't know. To me, it just feels like one of those episodes of Arrow where it goes back and forth between the flashbacks and the modern day. And it's like
You don't like those?
I liked him at first, but then after season
Fine.
5, it's dude.
I'll call Dan tonight and tell him to start doing flash forwards for you.
Okay, flash forwards. Tarzan in the future.
Yeah.
All right. Number 1 book. This is something we agree on. Nightclub. Number 1. I had a lot of fun with this, but this was a fun read to me, actually. It had a lot of that Spider-Man Invincible kick-ass feel to it. Teenager gets superpowers. I agree. Where he does the parkour and then he like breaks his neck. I was like, yep. I know too many kids that this could be them. This could be their story. But no, I liked it a lot. As far as how he gets his powers, it is kind of weird. Like this guy goes around. Small spoiler. The guy who gives him his powers goes around and finds like dying or sick people and turns them into vampires and like saves their lives.
Building an army, but we don't know why, and we don't know what his intentions are.
I'm betting. If I were a betting person, I would say he's probably gonna be like a mentor, but he's gonna turn evil, like kind of like Omni-Man from Invincible a little bit.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. I could be wrong. I would like to be wrong. I would like to see it be something completely different.
That would make it a little better.
Yeah. But overall, I mean, it was a quick read. It was an easy read. It wasn't like a Hickman book or something where it's like so much to dissect and read through. It was fairly simple, but the art was great. I liked some of the vampire powers where it's like, yeah, you can talk to rats and control animals and stuff. That was cool.
Question about vampire lore, as I know, like they don't have a reflection. So if you try to record them with a phone, did they show up?
Oh, it's different than a mirror, isn't it?
I don't know.
I don't know. I guess we'll find out.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it though. I thought it was really fun. I'm definitely looking forward to issue number 2.
Yeah, I wonder if they'll keep with the whole thing. I was like, because even Chastity comic books I had, and there's always a secret or order of elders, basically of vampires. Like they have certain laws you can't break, So if you start like he wants to, he's gonna say, I'm gonna be famous now because he's my power stuff. And it's like, dude, like he's gonna get create enemies now, or the old man's just gonna yank him, be like, "What the hell are you doing, bitch?"
And then the trade I picked up this week, not super old, but I found it and it was on sale. It's like they were only asking $20 for it. It's normally $40. But I got the first collection of Hickman's Avengers and New Avengers. Got Steve Epting as one of the artists in here. I think Adam Kubert is as well.
Yep, and Opera.
Jerome Opena.
Okay. It's the Opera.
Yeah,
it's Oprah's Avengers.
I know
you're an Avenger. You're an Avenger.
Look, I remember reading this when this was coming out in the floppies. I just had the Avengers. I didn't read the New Avengers. But because Skip and Ash and I are going through Hickman's whole journey through Marvel, the Hickman experience, thought I would go ahead and pick this up so I get a little jump start whenever we get to his Avengers run. I did some light reading through it. I remembered some fun stuff, like they have Cannonball and Sunspot join the Avengers. How they come around to that idea is pretty funny. So yeah, I'm gonna look forward to reading this more in full.
May I make a suggestion?
Sure.
When you and Ash and Skip get done with Hickman's Fantastic Four,
Mm-hmm.
and you want to move over to Hickman's Avengers,
Mm-hmm.
why don't you just substitute Hickman's Avengers and replace it with a good run of Avengers?
Well, because we're leading up to the Secret Wars that Hickman wrote, we're going through his arcs and titles in consecutive order.
Oh, so this is kind of like Hickman cast.
Kind of like Hickman cast, yeah.
A bunch of hicks talking about a hick.
Actually, we're calling it the Hickman Journey. That's what we're calling it. So, but anyway, yeah, pick that up, and not gonna lie, that was one of the more interesting parts of my haul. Not a whole lot that my shop had. Like my shop didn't have Archie. We didn't have Happy Horror Days, so thank you, Hickman, for picking up a copy for me.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't have the Marvel Origins with all the 4 stories in one. They didn't have that either, so I was kind of let down by my LCS this week.
Said if you want it, I'll send along with you. You can have both.
All right, cool. Well, let me know how much I owe you. And
$40.
40. Dang. Okay.
Okay, but if you have $40 and just $8 more plus tax, you can have this.
Handsy.
I know there's an expectation from people in the chat.
Hold on. Let me full screen that so we can get canceled. There we go.
The girl who loves this.
Is that Greta Thunberg?
How dare you?
No, it's Zach's second wife.
I have nothing to add. To
Zach's
this.
actually
I'm-
blonde. He just dyes his hair.
I'm not blonde.
And you know, this. What I couldn't believe is when I looked this up, this is $170 in mint.
Shoot, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Wow.
You just came across that or your pricing, or is that one of the books you bought?
No, this was one of the books I priced. This is part of the Archie Christian line from the early 70s. There's also a Tom Landry comic in this series. I mean, obviously she learns the error of her ways. I mean, they're all the stories are like
wait,
they're like episodes of He-Man. There's a moral message at the end of it.
Is that Betty there?
No, it's Hansi, the girl who loved the swastika.
It's funny because like my brother-in-law, my sister-in-law, the guy she married, his last name is Hans, Hans. So I was ask him, like, what's the full version of that?
Captain Strangelife's German. His first name is Hans.
Yeah.
But this, I mean, I've heard of this book, but I'd never seen it.
Yeah, I'm surprised to see a book like that. Wow.
It's okay.
Just think of the triggering you could do with that.
I know, right? Or just the cementing with our current audience that yeah, it's not a joke, folks.
Oh
He
my
really
god!
is.
Can you imagine if Zach just started doing a game on it, he just hit like little swastikas behind him on the wall?
God, no! Oh no, that's
no,
terrible.
no, it wouldn't even notice until they like. What's that?
I can't remember who
No.
brought it up last night, but it's, this is hard. This is like almost impossible to sell on eBay.
Oh, I'm sure.
Well, yeah.
I guarantee you probably couldn't give it away.
No, not that part. Because of the imagery.
Yeah, because the
And
swastika.
the- yeah.
Right.
So
yeah,
like
no,
the-
that's what I mean. Yeah.
Captain America books are like that too. The old Captain America book where you fight against the Nazis on the cover. You had the they were they were taking people's posts down.
Yeah, and so the person that was talking about it, they said that the guy's just going to sell it at his store.
Oh, okay. Well,
I mean, if you got enough people coming in looking, you got a huge collection of old books. Eventually, you're going to draw people coming in. And word of mouth, like, dude, this guy's got it. I'm going there because I'm looking for a specific book. You know,
I mean, it's relatively unique. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not. I mean, it's nothing
definitely,
that
yeah.
it wasn't one of my 55,000 the first go around, and it won't be one of my however many I have now. But it's still. I mean, I could. Yeah, I mean, if you collect oddities, I could see that. And I'm not doing a bid here. I can
No.
see it being of interest.
well, yeah, rare, hard to find books. You know,
Yeah.
you know.
I mean, actually, like like I said, if I wasn't lazy, I'd go dig out the Tom Landry one. But there's a lot of. I mean, there were Archie comics
Wait,
in the series.
hold on. I'm young. Who's Tom Landry?
Seriously?
Yeah, I'm serious.
He was the Cowboy coach from day one until Jerry Jones bought the team and fired him.
Oh, okay.
And he was, before that, in what was considered the greatest football game ever played was in 1958 Giants Colts. Nobody remembers who the head coach of the Giants was, but his coordinators were Vince Lombardi and Tom Landry.
Wow.
But yeah, he was coach for the Cowboys for like 28 or 9 years.
Oh wow, jeez.
So this is why we have him on here for sports ball knowledge.
Then Jerry Jones bought the team and put his best friend in as coach and unceremoniously fired Tom Landry.
Yeah.
And actually, in a recent interview, Jerry Jones says his biggest regret was the way he handled that.
And then Vince went over to Green Bay.
He did. Yeah, Vince Lombardi did leave the Giants for Green Bay, and Landry left to coach the expansion Dallas Texans. I believe they were the Cowboys from day one. But they were basically, the AFL was forming, and there was a team in Dallas.
Yeah.
They would be the Dallas Texans. I think they immediately moved to Houston, then they moved to Kansas City or something like that. But they put the Cowboys in to try to kill the momentum that the AFL didn't really have yet.
Mm-hmm.
But the Vikings were supposed to be an AFL team. And the owner went to all the meetings, all the pre-league meetings, and they're forming it. And they basically stabbed him in the back and went with the NFL.
Wow.
But that's a little useless trivia there. But
hey, Twin, check it out. I don't know if you saw it or not, but I'm already pre-gaming for when we get to Hickman's Avengers. So they had several of them. I just picked up the first volume though.
Hear that? He's gaming the system.
I'm getting ready. I'm preparing myself. We're actually near the end of his Fantastic Four and Future Foundation run, so it won't be too long before we're digging into Avengers and New Avengers.
R.I.P. Johnny.
No. Well, I don't want to spoil it for anyone that hasn't read it. It's comic books, Venkman. Who stays dead besides Uncle Ben? Even Thomas Wayne is back as Batman in the Flashpoint.
Didn't Marvel die when Uncle Ben died?
is there a character called Quality? Because Quality's been dead for a while.
Ew.
Quality, continuity. I feel like Marvel's kind of like died when Mark Grunwald died.
Don't be ridiculous. Marvel had a great 5 or so years in the first decade of the aughts.
Yeah. Up to 2014, 2015 was.
You're a little more charitable than I think.
I know. You
all like, new, all different. I think was when it ended for me, because when they did the all ex-women team, and the way they promoted it was all the girls are covered from head to toe, and we couldn't be more proud of us. Okay, the message is taking over, and I was right.
For me, the downhill of Spider-Man was not the OMD. It was before that. It was Civil War. That's what led to
Civil War. I actually still like Civil War. Civil War 2 is
not like the fact that
Civil War 2 is where I mark the end of greatness in current Marvel.
I did not like the fact they had him unmasked because I knew they're gonna like they're either stick with it and have him. Everybody knows he's like Iron Man. Everybody knows that's Peter Parker Spider-Man, or they're gonna have to do some kind of huge retcon.
Well, here's the thing with that. The unmasking led to unintended consequences, i.e. Aunt May being shot by someone trying to get at Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. Where it went off the rails was, instead of having her either recover or die, because Joe Quesada wanted Peter Parker to be with his daughter, because Carly Cooper, I think, was patterned after Quesada's kid.
Oh.
In one of those weird Dan Slottian type things. You got to deal with the devil, which was just by an objectively terrible story idea. It was one thing with Mephisto screwing around with the Silver Surfer, because that's an evil deity messing with a cosmic entity. Mephisto isn't going to take time out of his day to mess with Peter Parker. Anyway, like I said, so the idea that was introduced in Civil War, I thought was good, and it had consequences. Also good.
Yeah.
It's what they did after that screwed it up.
Yeah,
And we're feeling that to this day.
When it got to Civil War II, that's where I start disregarding everything, because that was ground zero for a lot of stuff that they. You want let's see,
Right.
Manly She-Hulk came from Civil War II.
Brain, I have no idea what he's
What
talking
is this Civil War II of which?
Oh,
you
that's
speak?
when they tried to remake. That's the first. Well, that's also the first where Marvel was like, "Hey, let's take that past event that did really good. Let's put a 2 on the end of it and try to sell it."
No, what year did that come out?
Wait.
Civil War II, I think, was 2016 or 2017.
So that was 4 years after they ended.
Yeah, sure.
So
Okay.
didn't they? Wait. So this whole time they've been trying to promote saying Captain Marvel is such a great character, and then they have her try to kill a little black kid.
They had her do that. They had her actually. Well, not kill, arrest. She was trying to arrest him.
Oh,
I read the story.
I remember reading. I read parts of it. I remember saying he has to die. You know?
I read the whole thing though. So she didn't try to kill him. She tried to arrest him. They did kill Black Widow, and then they brought her back as she was cloned. She had multiple clones of herself.
You know, they did in Civil War, after the first Civil War, Carol kind of did some questionable things with her authority that had repercussions.
Yeah.
The difference was she looked a lot better doing it.
She was still in the Miss Marvel costume, yeah.
Yes.
And in
But
this one,
her-
she actually goes and arrests like civilian people because there's not because of anything that they're proven guilty, but just because there's this Inhuman who gets glimpses of the future. And so it's this whole thing. It's like, should you arrest someone and take action before the crime is committed, or should you wait to see how things play out?
Wait a minute,
So-
isn't that a Tom Cruise movie?
A Minority Report, right?
Yeah.
That's what basically that's what
pretty
Civil War
much.
II was.
Now,
So, yeah.
Yeah, because her relationship with
Rhodey.
back in the first Civil War,
Oh, Wonder Man.
okay.
the Spider Woman,
Oh,
not Jessica Drew, the other one,
Julia Carpenter.
Julia Carpenter. Yeah,
Okay.
they were best friends, but Julia didn't register, so she arrested her in front of her kid, and that led
she was terrible back then.
Well, she was doing her job back then, but they were written better.
Right.
So
but then I remember reading in the original Civil War, she felt guilty and then she turned on it, and then they replaced her with Moonstone or Moon.
Well, that was Norman Osborn. That was Dark Avenger.
No, Moonstone didn't replace Carol Danvers.
No, she didn't replace her. She just impersonated her.
She impersonated her.
Because Norman Osborn, that's where he comes to power at the end of Secret Invasion with like the Cabal, and he has his own Avengers team.
Yeah.
That wasn't replacing her. Yeah.
Well, that's what I mean, because she was originally part of the team in the Dark Reign, and then she decided to leave because she couldn't deal with it anymore. She couldn't stomach it. She finally had enough and left.
No, she was
because she was a plant, wasn't she? For the rest of the other Avengers.
No, Carol Danvers was not part of.
She wasn't on the Dark Avengers team.
She wasn't on Dark Avengers. Norman just when they were.
Well, that's right. She confronted. That's what. Yeah.
When they were on the run, and in hiding, I don't know why. I don't know why they did a Ms. Marvel, because I don't think Carol was in hiding, because she was on the pro register side.
She was on, if I'm remembering right, she was with the Secret Avengers towards the end of the run. Like, I think she was. I don't recall. That's too far back. My memory is too foggy. I have to go back and check. But she was with the Avengers. I think after Steve's death, I think she was doing more stuff with the Secret Avengers.
Well, there's a few years between that because I think Steve died
later. Skip
about I can't remember what number the Avengers were on at that time. But in the Mighty Avengers had just been started, and she was part of the Mighty Avengers team.
Right.
First couple issues drawn by Frank Cho.
Yes, who was not on that series long enough.
That was
No.
Ultron, wasn't?
Yeah,
Jan?
they
Yeah.
had Ultron and they had symbiotes and
So was
something
Tony
else.
just inside the armor? Is armor just shaped around him? Or what was? I
I have
still
to go
don't know
dig, I
today
have to go dig the issue out.
Yeah, I can't remember.
because I remember he was on armor, and all of a sudden, like Ultron infected the armor and then shaped it into a form of Jan, the Wasp,
No, it was
That-
Jocasta, I think.
or Jan. Yeah, whatever.
I thought.
It was Tony inside the armor. It
But
was Tony.
you know, like I said, those five or so years, really, really good
Mhm.
if they had left them there.
Yeah.
Is just something that it's like some things don't need a sequel. You
Yeah.
don't need a sequel to Casablanca.
Mhm.
And I'm not saying that this Marvel Comics was the comic equivalent of that, but it was a lot. It was way better than anything that had come the 5 years before or after. But
Yeah.
it was not a concept that was designed to be beaten like a dead horse, because the heroes fighting heroes. It's like when Alan Moore did Watchmen and Frank Miller did Dark Knight. The writers learned all the wrong lessons from that, and they all tried to do their versions of it.
Mhm.
What Marvel was able to pull off in those 5 years was really neat to see, but it did not need to be revisited, because I said, how do you, whether you liked Civil War or not, I mean, your mileage may vary. I thought a lot of people were written horribly out of character. I think there were people on one team that should have been on the other, and vice versa. But as a concept,
Yep.
it was a neat thing to see once. Having
Right.
having Norman Osborn basically take over the Marvel Universe, because he was the one that took out the Skrull leader in Secret Invasion, was a neat thing to do once.
Mhm.
Siege put all the toys back in the toy chest, the way all good stories should come to an end.
Mhm.
And that's where all that should have ended.
Right.
How do you improve on the original Planet Hulk? You don't. You tarnish it.
Right.
How do you improve upon Civil War? You don't. It's Secret Invasion. All these things.
Yeah.
All they
Well,
do
that's
is
unfortunately just about every event after Civil War II is like it's like that. It's a sequel of some past event that was great but didn't need to be revisited or rehashed or redone.
yeah,
Like right now they're redoing Planet Hulk. They redid Annihilation.
yeah.
They
And I,
redid
yeah. Thank you for
Atlantis
mentioning that.
Attacks. So, yeah, like Rhaegar says, other than Civil War and Annihilation, Infinity was, I say Infinity was the last great Marvel event. Another Hickman story, by the way, because it was one of the things about it, it was an original story. It wasn't a rehash or taking something and redoing it, or it was something brand new.
So speaking of which, when's the next Marvel Zombies coming out?
Yeah.
Hopefully never. I didn't even like the original Marvel Zombies. I'll be honest. I thought the original Marvel Zombies was I didn't care for it. But or even speaking of Hickman, even his Secret Wars story, like as good as it was and as I thought it was good. It's still taking the same
But-
name and some of the same concepts from the original Secret Wars.
So whose Secret Wars came out first? Because they had Bendis and Hickman within like a few years of each other.
Bendis didn't do a Secret Wars.
Yeah, he did.
He did I think Bendis wrote Secret War,
Yeah.
singular.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, Secret War. Okay.
2004.
That's the one with where Nick Fury recruits a handful of people and they go into Latveria. I gotta give it Bendis. That was actually a good story. I enjoyed that one.
I just remember being so confusing because he had one was Secret War, one was Secret Wars. It's like
Well, there was nothing about this series I think was ever referenced again, or not for years.
Yeah, I thought I recall.
Yeah, but it was right before House of M, when Marvel started
Mhm.
doing good events again.
Yeah,
screw everybody else. We'll just make everybody
I thought-
mute.
I thought it was pretty cool because, well, like I think you could have done it to where you wouldn't need to know when it takes place because he has like everybody's memory wiped at the end. So, or at the end of their original invasion of Latveria, so it could have taken place at any time. And then But yeah, it never does get referenced again, I don't think.
Yeah. So tomorrow, we have a special treat on the retrospective.
I still need to read it.
You don't have to read every single issue.
I haven't started yet.
What are we doing? Oh, I didn't even know.
Well, it's in the group. We talked about it earlier this week
I wasn't involved.
in the Friday Night Retrospective group, which you're involved in Twitter.
No, I didn't see that pop
yeah,
up. I don't see all of them.
Yeah. So Pixel and I were talking about this, and we were just waiting for you guys to chime in. So, it's 100 pages, but I don't expect you to read everything in one of them.
Yeah, I can tell you right now, I won't be reading it. Not
Bob
because
Haney.
not as a. I'm not reading that. I'm not going to have time.
Oh, I understand. That's okay.
Those are those are cool though.
You can still be on the panel with us. I don't care because you've read it before.
I'll show up for it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. Sorry, Breen, you didn't read it, so you can't join us.
You got 2 Batman stories. See, even back then, they were already double downing on all the Batman.
There's 5 stories, right? Altogether.
6 stories.
6.
The term
6 stories. 2 of them are Batman.
The term is doubling down.
Doubling down. Excuse me. 2 Batman, 1 Superman, 1 Justice League, 1 Teen Titans, and 1 Legion of Superheroes.
So yeah, I just want to talk about this, and I was thinking about doing the second issue next week, which is half the amount of time to read. I think it's 54 pages for the next one. So just want to glance over, talk about it, go over the individual stories, and for those of you who don't have time to read it, we'll have a visual tomorrow, hopefully, with the if it's on the DC Infinite, so you can actually. Hey, I remember reading this. Yeah. I just want to go back to a time when DC put out good holiday books that actually said Christmas on it.
Yeah, I was just say that's the main thing right there is
1988, man. Post-crisis, Zach.
I'm out of drink. I don't have anything else.
I mean, just look at that top line. You will never, ever see that again from the big 2.
Yes, and Robin. Well, you'll see Robin without pants again. It's him.
Well, if you want to see Robin without pants, just read any issue of Megan Fitzmartin's Tim Drake.
They recreated the rooftop scene. The famous Batman Catwoman. It's Robin.
Bernard.
And obviously the picture I found. This is only the first prize. It's a wrapper on cover, I believe, right? Or the inside folds out.
It is.
Yeah, I tried looking for this.
Oh.
I mean, this is what, a $10 book? You think still?
Nah.
Or you think it's down to like $3 now?
It's $1 box, $2 box bin if you find it.
Yeah, I'm curious. I gotta look for this. I'm gonna go on eBay and look for this because I want to get this one and the second one. And this is cool. This is the 80s. This is back in when they actually had good writers, actually with good moral stories. It wasn't as Harley Quinn, being an anti-hero and all that stuff and all the weird, just reading the stories.
Oh God! Speaking of Margot Robbie running her mouth again. I want a Harley and Ivy relationship in the movies.
Guess
I
what?
want to play that.
Guess what though? They rebooted the universe, so
Yeah, and she's out anyway, and she.
yeah.
I believe they all are.
They all are.
Well, no. Amber Heard survived.
Well, that's with
Well-
this movie. I bet everything after it gets.
After Aquaman 2's out, and the Flash is out, everything is gone.
But it's good to know that Henry Cavill's been let go as Superman, but the Ta-Nehisi Coates Superman is still on.
Yeah, that one I read about that one. It's like, oh, of course they're still gonna. Well, it's out of continuity, is what the headline I saw says.
It's also going to be a bomb, like of biblical proportions.
So
Oh,
the
well,
one
good.
the one that Jurgens, or not Jurgens, but James Gunn was talking about, he said he's doing one. He doesn't know who's directing it, but there's gonna be a Superman story, but it's gonna
Oh,
be.
he is. I think he's either writing or he's directing. I think he's writing.
He's writing it. He said he's
Okay.
not. He doesn't. There's no director to attach to it yet. So
Okay.
his tweet as of yesterday, And he
it's
said,
it's going to be young Superman.
he
It's a
said,
but it's not an origin story.
yeah,
So-
but he said it's gonna be a cub reporter, and you know what everybody said? We're sick of that shit. It's time to do the old Superman stuff, the older
Wait, who
stuff.
said that? I like.
I
the
don't want
idea.
a 10-year Superman run. Sorry,
I want him his early days as a reporter. Like I don't want Smallville Superman.
That's what they're gonna do. They're gonna do Smallville reporter.
Or the Daily Planet is not in Smallville.
Dude, you're gonna basically do year one. You're gonna have what was it? John Romita Jr. did with Frank Miller.
I don't know.
Like I said, I'm just sick of this. I mean, I suffered with Smallville and all. I don't need to see him in the early years. If you want to do that, go watch any of the other movies he's been in, or just go read comic books.
This is the beginning of like at least a 10-year storyline.
Here's the thing, though.
Oh.
If they're going to do young Superman, where the cops don't know who he is and they're trying to get him and whatnot, yeah, Superman is one of those characters where if you ask a normie, they all know who he is, and all they know is Clark Kent, mild-mannered reporter for a great metropolitan newspaper, because that goes back to a TV show from 70 years ago. Give us that version. That was the Christopher Reeve. Now, I mean, I'd love the Byrne one where he's cool, but the reality is, if you want a hit, just give what people that are never going to read a comic book and maybe don't even go to superhero movies. If you give them that version of Superman, like they did in 1978, you have a hit. If you keep tweaking with the formula, like he's not a reporter, he's a longshoreman on a ship. It's eventually people they nope out.
What is he, a social blogger?
He might be. That's what he was in the New 52.
Yeah, I know. I'm hoping it's not that.
Yeah. So I don't know. I said it's
like I said, I just tired of restarting. Tired of restarting.
Here's the thing. You're not angry at James Gunn for restarting. I tweeted this earlier. If you need to be mad at anybody, you need to be mad at Warner Brothers, the people who stuck their noses in their hands in the filmmaking for the DC movies back in the first place when they interfered with Zack Snyder because they wanted to get a Justice League movie out in time so that they could get, quick turnaround, quick box, because they were rushing to try to catch up with Marvel.
You know what,
so
though?
Instead of doing it right the first time and building it the correct way, they tried to rush through and get stuff so they could make money.
I'm just going to say this, though. So, it's already done. There's no need to start over again. Just continue where you have now.
Who says he's starting? This could be. I mean, look. When
I'm not talking
Homecoming.
I'm not talking about that, though, Zach. I'm talking about restarting, rebooting the whole universe, getting rid of all the other actors. You've already got them there. People have already watched the movies. They know who the movies are. They've watched movies, whether they like or not.
Well, with Henry Cavill, I know they got rid of. He's not replaying him because it's an age thing.
Yes,
he's too old. They want to get somebody.
Well, but that's James Gunn's decision.
Yeah.
You bring him back and then you get rid of him.
Yeah,
that's weak.
Well, the bringing back bit was really more Dwayne Johnson. He really wanted to have Henry. I think Dwayne Johnson did a lot of trying to keep the current DCEU as it is, and it looks like at the end of the day they decided
because he recognized that people. Whether I'm not a huge fan of the way Man of Steel was, but the fact that you had Cavill is still young. He can still do it. Robert Downey Jr. was signed out. He was smart. He signed up for a 10-year contract when he first did that first Iron Man movie. He said, "I'm going to do 10 years of this," so that we just can't just quickly kick him out and then replace him with somebody else. Because I'm sure you saw that what they do with DC does, a history of that, bad history of that.
I have a feeling that despite all of the supposed positive things that Zaslav or whatever the hell his name is, they're going to get bitten by the woke virus. I can feel it.
John Kent, yeah.
No, I said, the Superman. Yeah, I said, kid Superman just doesn't. That's going to bite him.
My thoughts now is he going to be like Tom? He'll look like Tom Holland in Homecoming. It's going to be like just fresh out of high school, maybe Tom Maguire a little bit, and then have him
I
just
hope
running
not,
around.
But
Like,
then again, realize by the time they get that out, I'll probably be in my mid 60s, so I don't care.
well,
Yeah,
by the
you
time
guys got years to be disappointed by this stuff. I mean, I'm to the point now where I'm just kind of
Well,
done.
I'm with Rob Liefeld, man. Superman is like I love Spider-Man, but I love Superman just about as much now. I've been reading it, and we're to the point where just like, dude, Cavill had the look. He's a fanboy. He actually knows the lore. He takes his time. He cares about the character. He was done dirty. Give him a chance. Let him do this, and I guarantee, if you did a good movie with him,
Yeah.
People would want to go see it more because people still behind Cavill. I don't care about the Zack Snyder stuff. I agree that was done poorly, but it's out there. Just to start all over and just start doing that with a whole new different cast of actors. No one's gonna care. I don't see people going out because people are gonna say like, "Whoa, The Rock, couldn't even save Black Adam." It's DC at this point. People are just getting tired of the reboots. It's like DC comic books reboots,
Well,
relaunches.
Well, here's
It's
the
a point
thing.
where
They,
normies
again,
are just gonna the normies are gonna get eventually are gonna get pissed off in the next 5 years. I guarantee it. James Gunn's his 10-year plan is gonna be out the window because we get change
no,
of
it's
guard at
not.
DC.
No,
DC's
no, of
gonna be
course it's
bought
not.
again.
No. What's going to happen is you can't build a house if you've got a shoddy foundation. DC's had some good movies. They've also had a good lot of bad movies. You got to start over from a clean slate, and you've got to start from the. He's doing it how it should have been done in the first place. DC should have had a plan. They should have stuck with the plan instead of, Zack Snyder needs to mourn. Quick, get another director in here that's completely different and has a totally different tone than him, and we'll just mismatch all this stuff as we go along. DC, Warner Brothers department, they screwed the pooch, and now as a result of it, Zaslav is coming in. He's like, hey, you've got to, Zaslav hired James Gunn, him and Peter, what's his name? I don't know. But they're like, you've got to you got to have a clean slate, start from the beginning, and then build it correctly.
Why does it have to be an interconnected universe?
Yeah.
Where's the?
Doesn't have to be.
I mean, I said, why not?
Does Marvel?
Because
Pattinson's.
Marvel's already done it, and they're doing it better than DC ever will. So I said, why can't DC do self-contained movies?
Well, the other thing is they're letting Joker go. They're still continuing Joker 2. That's not going to be canceled. They're not. They're going to continue with that. That's going to be going. You're going to have the new Nolan verse, the Matt Reeves verse. That's continuing for another 2 movies.
Is the Pattinson Batman part of this?
Yeah, not part of this reboot.
Right, I'm just saying.
But they're allowing that to continue though.
Yeah, why not? Why not do? It just seems like you got a guy that looks like Superman who wants to play Superman
and is good at it.
And you don't want him to do it, so you're going to go out and find somebody that'll probably, be like Pattinson. And I know the end result was good, but it's like, I'm not going to work out or anything. I said I just don't understand why you'd not take advantage of this opportunity while he's still young enough to do it.
So here's the other thing: if James Gunn had no control of basically, and it was a DC executive, the 2 other shadow executives, they say, because remember it was promoted that, James Gunn and this Peter guy are in charge of everything, but we find out there's 2 other guys that are in control of everything else. They have the final decision. Probably someone who works for Zaslav, and reports to Zaslav. So say it wasn't James Gunn that got rid of this, but MK's bringing it up. We'll probably see because Gunn say he left it open down the line for future projects. No, Cavill's out.
Yeah.
He's not.
He and Cavill have He said himself in an announcement. He and Gunn have talked about future projects together, and I even told my brother this. I bet you. Because one of the things James Gunn teased or tweeted out was a picture of Kingdom Come, the big group shot from Kingdom Come. I would bet you if they do a Kingdom Come story, they get Henry Cavill to play old Superman, like they did with Brandon Routh on CW. I would bet you
So he gets a one-shot movie.
Yeah. What would you rather have? Nothing?
I'd rather have him as the main one and actually sell tickets.
Okay, but we're not getting him as the main one.
I know, like I said.
Would you rather not have any Henry Cavill?
My question is,
Zach,
who are you going to cast? Who is out there that casts other than that actually is a fan of the material, looks the part, actually.
Okay, well, if you're worried about casting, I mean, James Gunn is going to have a hand in casting, and he's done pretty good casting work. because of him, we have Chris Pratt and we have the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. He did really good casting those. I
Okay,
don't.
but why couldn't you have Henry Cavill play Superman
in the present day.
current day and the Kingdom Come Superman? Hell, you could, if you were doing this right, you could have the characters that you put in this uniform or this universe, age them up through makeup or whatever, and do Kingdom Come. But again, like I said, they talk about it. I think it's going to go down as a huge opportunity missed.
Yep.
That's all.
We'll see. I mean, could be, could not be. I mean, I'm waiting to see. We don't really know anything right now. James Gunn is purposefully just like teasing. He's not saying what's true, what's false, or whatever.
Well,
except we know that Cavill's out. We know that Gal Gadot's out. I bet money Ben Affleck is also out, which I am disappointed about.
Batfleck's out, but they're letting they want Ben to stay on to direct.
I do want him to stay on to direct, which I think he's a better director than an actor.
Getting rid of Gal Gadot is another ridiculous miscalculation.
That first movie was great.
Oh yeah,
phenomenal.
Now, I don't think she's. I mean, she's not. Stature wise, maybe not quite enough to be Wonder Woman, but damn, she made that character hers.
Yeah.
She won me and everybody else over that you believe in a relatively petite Wonder Woman. I just don't know. Will they be able to resist the next Wonder Woman being Nubia?
Yeah, as I say, Nubia kind of
think so.
As a lesbian,
like
in the
so.
Comics. I don't know.
Here's the thing. They have to, because if they go with a lesbian Wonder Woman, regardless of Nubia or not, if they go with the lesbian Wonder Woman, that movie is going to be banned from so many countries. Because remember, this is Warner Brothers. They're trying to make money. They've already lost enough money. They're trying to make as much as they can. So if you do a lesbian Wonder Woman, that's going to knock them out of so many countries and so much potential revenue. And at the end of the day, all these companies can be woke and say whatever they want to about the rainbow. But at the end of the day, the only color they really care about is green.
I was thinking too. When I think they skip, if it's a Nubia, they go with Yara, the new one, and just do a young Justice League.
Yara, whose book got canceled after 6 issues. Yeah, she's that popular. Let's give her a movie.
You know what though? It's like I said, it's the same people behind all the other movies. So why would they not? I mean,
but yeah, Zach, I get what you're saying, and they could do it to where the scenes could be cut for the foreign markets.
That's true. They could
but
do that.
They're also a lot of those same markets aren't real keen on black leads either.
That's true too. China, we know very well. China is not too keen on black leads.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I think she was a very good Wonder Woman. Cavill was a very good Superman. One of them at least got to do one movie where the material matched their abilities. Mm-hmm. And I mean, Cavill made the best of making lemonade out of lemons, but I would love to see a traditional Superman movie with him.
He wanted to do the Christopher Reeve one. He wanted to do something like that. He actually said he wanted to do a post-crisis John Byrne Superman. He was said he's talked about that in interviews. The dude is a huge fan of that. I was like, thank you. Finally, someone who actually likes the best Superman, the only Superman, because we don't care about the Kal-El crap they're trying to shove down our throats.
Yeah, God, it's
like.
I mean, and I don't know how much of it's even sincere, because I find it hard to believe that a dude that good looking and that buff needed to waste any time reading comic books. I don't care what.
Or building computers.
Well, he builds his own PCs. He plays Warhammer, all this stuff. He's all.
By the way, it has been announced though. He is like immediately after this thing about him not playing Superman, he comes and says like, "Oh yeah, Amazon's doing a Warhammer series, and I'm going to star." I know Henry Cavill. There's 2 things I know he's a big fan of. That's The Witcher and Warhammer. So I know he's gonna have a blast doing.
Like I said, imagine they pass him up in that, and then he does whatever movie does. This outsells any the DC movies they're gonna put out. It just puts them to shame, and they're like, "Oh fuck, we shot ourselves in the foot again." I said honestly, at this point, I mean, I don't want any bad DC movies, but I just looks to the point where why do I bother investing? I'll be Breeze Age before they actually get another good movie. If they get another good movie, I
Yeah.
guarantee.
And you know, we always make the jokes that DC Comics is always trying to do what Marvel did, only they're like 5 or 6 years late. That kind of the same thing if they try to do a integrated universe starting from scratch. It's like I
Well,
don't.
I don't
Is
want
it
to.
though? Because the Marvel universe is going down the toilet right now. Like Phase
I
4 has
don't
been
want-
trash.
Well, the thing
So
is,
there's a void. There's a spot there. They could, if they're smart, they could fill that void because the MCU's not doing too
I
much.
don't want to. I don't want to weed in DC Universe. I don't want that.
It's not going to be weed.
No, maybe
Campy and all that
the
stuff.
time for. I mean, Marvel's going to keep their universe as
Oh,
a
yeah.
universe.
Oh, of course they're going to limp along. Yeah.
DC, maybe the alternative is really good self-contained movies that don't have to all connect. Because
Eventually, yeah, you eventually could have one that connects, but it doesn't. But it's further down the road, though.
I don't know if anybody can do what they were able to do the first time.
Dude, you guys missed it last night. Web came on stream last night. With me and Eve, Weaponized Red Rage.
Oh,
And I agree with him. I didn't think about that. He said Avengers is what it's what's basically started the trickle down effect, which made MCU get worse as it went down. You start seeing the cracks because Whedon got his hooks in and for the Avengers stuff, and he started doing the whole what he always does. And I can see this happening with them trying to do. We're going to do see. I don't think a Justice League movie would really work. I mean, this one was 4 hours, way too long. But it should have been a 2-hour movie, two-part movie, like Infinity was in Endgame. But overall, like I said, I just want to go back. I want the Superman movies not connecting. I don't want the Batman's connecting. I don't want that. I don't want a connected universe. There's no reason to have a connected universe. And knowing the way the company goes, like, man, how many times has DC been sold now? Warner Brothers, whatever, they keep selling it. They're on the third time now.
second maybe.
Who's to say that Zaslav or the next person comes in and says, you know what? Yeah, it's clear a 10-year deal. We're scrapping that. It's
I will choose. I will accept my role as the silver lining, look on the bright side guy.
Go ahead.
MK, I'm actually not looking forward to that game from Rocksteady. It looks all right. It's not high on my list though. So
yeah, Rhaegar, I'm with you. I'm just kind of like, eh. I mean, I might see Shazam 2.
Oh, I'm definitely seeing Shazam 2.
But I mean, like, but that's gonna be gone too, right? That's gone after this. I don't think they're pushing Aquaman 2. There's no more Aquamans after this. The second one's gone. After the second one, it's done. Because they're getting rid of all the Snyder people, and it sucks.
I just don't know that if fans need a second superhero universe on the big screen that they have to follow each movie to feel like they didn't miss anything. Yeah, I said, I mean, I think that, Marvel can't even do it anymore.
Right.
And, so I said, I think it's one of those, we had a great first 10 years, but that's something that comes along once in a lifetime. And good luck to James Gunn. If he can pull it off, great. But, I just a little skeptical of whether or not they can do it. But, anywho, guys, I'm going to tap out. I am going to go, grab something to eat because it's after 11. Here.
I'm gonna just like DC Universe. I'm tapping out too.
My stomach's been rumbling. I gotta go eat something. I haven't eaten since like 10 o'clock this morning.
Oh, I think I'll go fill my gut with some Taco Bell or some dog meat, whatever is closest.
Oh. Okay, I'm better. I'm not hungry anymore.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
I mean, I like Culver. You guys don't have Culver's by you anywhere. Culver's.
We have Culver's in Florence.
Yeah.
But it's way out there, so I think Jerry and I went out there about a year or two ago. It is
Hopefully
good.
Yeah, I was gonna say, hopefully the quality was because sometimes different states don't. It's like going to Waffle House. You don't know if it's gonna be good or not. It says Waffle House, but yeah.
Oh yeah, we don't have Culver's in
Culver's
Louisiana.
is.
No,
We need to
by
go
the way,
to Texas or Arkansas.
But
excuse me for interrupting. So I guess they got Rodon, but MKF, how you feeling?
wants some mercy.
No, I
Wants
mean,
some
remember he
Oh,
had,
yeah, COVID, yeah.
the COVID.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about baseball because you said something about the
No,
Yankees
that's
there.
how he's feeling personally.
Gotcha.
Health wise.
I'm sorry to hear you got COVID, MK. Hope you're feeling better.
Well, he was worried about it, and I tried to explain to him. I said, "Yeah, I got it when I was 58, fat and a smoker, and it was a minor irritation for me."
See, I got it when I was 33, and I mean, it wasn't bad. I think it gave me the worst sore throat that I ever remember having. Like, felt like swallowing daggers that were on
God,
fire.
I didn't have any throat problems
But-
at all.
Other than that, I mean, that was really the only part I remember. I think I was congested for a little bit, like a day or two, and I had a fever for a day. But
He's
other
got
than
what
that,
I
was
have.
fine.
That horrible dry cough.
Oh, the dry coughing. was
Mine
bad.
has. I had COVID or whatever in 2020. I still have the dry cough. I think
Really?
I've grown up with mild asthma. Now I think it's just getting worse because of that crap that was in the air.
My sense of taste left and came back during the same auction one Saturday night.
Oh, so basically you found one section of the books you didn't like, and then you came
No,
back.
I'm serious. It was gone for like 3 hours. The sense of smell was a better part of a week,
Uh-huh.
but that was the only actual COVID symptom because the rest of it felt like just a cold for a few days.
Yeah.
Actually, I had it before I got tested. I think it was on the down slope by then already.
Mm-hmm.
So
And
I
so,
like you. I want to say though, I like you said like within 3 hours. I'm like, yes, kids, and auctions are freaking
yeah.
long.
yeah, that was
If you-
back
if
when
you
they were
need-
they were clocking it at about 6 or 7 fucking hours.
Yep. Oh, see, MK's got the sore throat. Yeah. Says
Yeah.
it's like swallowing razor blades. Yep.
Ugh, I'm sorry to hear about
It was
that for
bad.
both of you guys because that
That was rough. I was drinking like hot tea, and I was stuffing like 2 throat lozenges in my mouth. I looked like a hamster. Just like
So, yeah, I never went in and got tested for COVID and all that stuff. I just stayed at home. I had the high temperatures for 2 weeks, so I might have just had the flu for all I know.
you had a fever for 2 weeks,
Yeah,
dude. Oh wow.
Oh,
I had
he
it for
got-
2 days. I had it for a day. Wow.
when did you have that? Because you were sick as hell for about 2
That-
weeks.
and that was the end of 2020,
Dang.
around November. Yeah,
Wow.
I was like, because I didn't know. I didn't go to doctor. I just took NyQuil and Dayquil, and I just sucked the cough drops and drank water. I was like, at least the water can't taste bad. It's like-
But it is funny how everybody that's talking about it had it in different. Yeah, I said, oddly enough, I think I got off the easiest of anybody.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Yeah.
I
But
think he just-
my young niece,
Yeah.
who is a nurse, got it way worse than I did, and she's obviously a lot younger and healthier than I was when I got it.
Mhm.
So it just
Ah.
that's what always bugged me about the one size fits all way they handled it,
Yeah.
yeah,
because
yeah.
it really at the end of the day, the overwhelming majority of people that died from it, pre-existing conditions,
Pre-existing.
advanced age, morbid obesity.
Yep.
So,
Well-
God, the idea of everybody sitting home watching Netflix and eating Doritos, and these are our health officials.
Hmm.
I mean, how seriously can you mismanage something until you realize that, oh yeah, they're bought and paid for by you know who that made boatloads of money.
If you want to find out more information about that, check out the Twitter files being released every day on how they suppressed other medical opinions about COVID.
Well, Elon doesn't own this platform, so I'm going to shut up before we get taken down.
But I would say that- I would
And
say
we're
this, though.
leaving.
I'll say this real quickly. The one thing that really blew my mind is when this was going on to 2020 is that your nephew, his roommate, fit as could be, muscular guy, got the worst of it. Where your nephew, nothing.
How do you remember that?
But I can't remember what I had for dinner the other day.
Because there was 4 of them. Yeah, and the most athletic one got the worst. Yeah, my nephew, God love him, and he's a little too lefty for my taste, but he ain't exactly a poster child for. He's a before picture. But yeah, he didn't get any worse than I did.
Yeah, I remember that because there's certain things I remember, but like comic book issues and like the titles, it's like, is it Tales in the Mystery or is it Journey in the Mystery? Tales in the Journey into Suspense. It's like honestly because I don't if I don't see it every day, I don't remember it. Like I remember, but here and there. But that being said, if you're losing your memory, please go check out get a doctor and make sure there's something going on. If you have a stroke or the fact maybe you're just smoking too much weed. But get help. That being said, if you want to help us out, though, there's a Ko-Fi link down below.
And again, I bring up, how do you know if you're losing your memory?
I don't know. But there's a Ko-Fi link down below. And I let you guys just drop $1 in there. And then if you forgot if you dropped $1 or not, spend another $1.
That's
All
right. Let memory loss benefit Venkman.
The money goes
No,
to...
you didn't just drop $1 in. Drop $1 in. Okay.
All the money actually goes to Professor Pixel, the little stingy little bastard.
Yes, he's going to get finger reduction surgery.
He's going to have more fingers. No. Like 20 or 18, sorry, because thumbs don't count. No, the money goes towards to the monthly StreamYard bill, so we can have little fancy little things. We can show you like before we showed you the photo for tomorrow. Yes, retrospective. Should be around 7:00 Central, I think, right around there.
Are you joining us, Zach?
Yeah, no, I should be here.
Or yeah,
Won't be here
Right.
Saturday. I won't be around for the auction, but I will be here Friday.
And where are you going to be this Saturday? And did you clear this with us?
I'm gonna be at a Christmas party being thrown by my brother.
why is he
Why
throwing
is your
you?
brother throwing you?
Oh, he's
Quit
not throwing
stealing-
me. He's throwing the
Quit
party.
stealing my dad jokes, Dad.
I how y'all both did that at the same time.
Well, Venkman is like, I was going to say, he's either like the much younger brother or the son I never wanted.
Or the brother you never wanted. Also, the money goes towards the DC Infinite app we use for reading it, and as well as the Marvel Universe app we also use for reading on here too. So, like I said, and plus you can also the more money you spend on Pixel, the less stressed out he is, and the more he'll show up on camera.
That's not an incentive.
Not really.
All right, we'll keep him down, and we'll have the puppet on camera all the time. Yes. So also please click like, and also for the love of God, somebody leave a comment other than rate. I feel bad. He's like the only one. I think Skip Tosh has left some comments. Comments actually help out the algorithm a lot too. So if you missed this, you're watching it towards the end replay. Thank God for you actually sticking around for 2 hours, or maybe just skip to the last 10 minutes. That's cool too. Leave a comment down below. Tell us what books you got this week. Which ones do you think were horrible? Which ones do you think were great? And let us know if you thought that maybe we're idiots and we should have just hated the book that we said we praised. All right.
Can we say goodnight now?
Good night now.
Hold on. I got to check has it been 40 minutes?
Feels like it.
It's only been 15. You got
What? No.
All right. Have a good night, guys. And thank you for watching us, because no one else will.
Good night, kids.
Good night, everybody.